Welcome to the podcast, Coach Matt Hennesy. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. Excited to be a Bruin.
Come on, baby. All right. So I think officially, have you had any other interviews with media folks?
Yeah, I mean, I've done the radio.
Okay. Yeah.
A couple little ones. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, but this will be our first just long form. I don't know anything about you.
Okay.
So I did that on purpose because I wanted to just have the conversation here and get to know you and find out more about your heart and where you go and what you're thinking. So, tell me how you got started coaching. Let's start there.
Well, I've always played football, so I won a state championship at Enid High School.
Okay. When
I was in high school, and then I ended up at Kansas State and played for Bill Snyder. Mm-hmm. And I was pre-law, and went all the way through, passed my LSAT, started applying at law schools. I was right at the start of my junior year of college, and got accepted to Harvard Law School. And then all of a sudden it became real. I was like, man, I don't really want to do this. I'm doing this because I was a state champion speech and debate guy in high school.
Oh, okay.
And so, and I had good grades. So that's what everybody said I should do. So that's what I did, but I was really just playing football and taking the classes I was supposed to take. And once that happened, it all became real. So I still remember the day calling my dad and said, Dad, I'm changing my major. I'm not going pre-law. He says, good, I thought you should have gone pre-med to start with. I'm like, nah, I'm changing it to PE. I just want to be a coach. And he's like, have you lost your mind? What are you doing? I just told him my dad's worked in the grocery business his whole life, and the hardest working man I ever met. I mean, taught me my work ethic, taught me get up early, get to work. And,
come on.
And I said, I watch you wake up every day and have to go to work. I don't want to wake up and have to go to work. And I've been doing it 33 years now, and I haven't been to work yet. So
that's fantastic. So once you find it's something you love, it's not working. It's just having fun.
Absolutely, it's just your passion. And so I finished up playing at K-State, went to OSU, was going to be a GA for Pat Jones. Coach Snyder set that up and got there. And I was just kind of sick of college football, and I was so beat up. And I thought, man, I don't want to do this. And then they told me, you really can't take a class. I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do at that point as far as high school, what direction. So I just started working on my master's. About that time, Coach Lancaster, my high school coach, called, and he had gotten the Jinx job.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so he said, if you'll quit getting your master's, spend the next semester getting your science endorsement so you can teach science, then I'll hire you next year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I did that, and so landed my first coaching job at Jinx. Pretty good gig to start at.
Yeah, that's not a bad spot to be at.
No, we won state my second year, and then I was there with Coach Trimble. We won it again in 96 and 97, and then I went on to be a head coach at Dodge City, Kansas High School.
I've spent the night there once.
I don't envy you. I've spent the night there for 3 years.
That was on the way to Colorado. We were not.
Totally understand.
That was not. We were not going to Dodge City.
Yeah,
we were on the way out.
And really I did it because Coach Snyder thought that's the reason they knew me. They had called me. It was one of those deals, and I thought I was just ready to be a head coach. I was young and dumb, didn't know better. And,
come on.
And so we did it for 3 years and realized I did not like Kansas football. They had too many rules. They had too many restrictions. It wasn't like Oklahoma football. And
yeah.
So I bailed out of there and told my wife I'd moved her all the way up there and that I'd let her pick the next job. So I started looking. I was going to go be an assistant again. I love being an assistant. I started off as a defensive guy.
Yeah.
Had the Legion of Doom defenses in Jinx that were still the top record-holding defenses in the nation. And anyway, so I went to Wilmer, Hutchins, Texas, where we ended up next. And it's in Dallas area. She decided she wanted to move to the Dallas area, and I'd sent Mike Robinson. I just started looking for places that had job openings. I just started sending my resume out, and I get a phone call, and it says, "This Matt Hennesy, the Legion of Doom, Matt Hennesy?" And I said, "Yeah, I guess however you want to call me." But he said, "Why are you applying at Wilmer Hutchins?"
Yeah.
I said, "Well, maybe I ought to ask you why I shouldn't apply at Wilmer Hutchins."
Ooh.
And he says, "Do you know what this is?" I said, "High school in South Dallas." And he says, "Yeah, we're an all-black school in South Dallas, in the roughest part of Dallas." I said, "Sounds like a good time." I said, "I bet you got some good athletes, don't you?" He said, "Well, we do." And I said, anyway, so long story short, we ended up going there. Absolutely loved my job there.
That's awesome.
Probably the most rewarding 2 years I've ever had in my career. Everything you did every day meant something to a kid there.
Come on.
Rocky Kalmus, I coached him and love Rocky, still talk. He was probably going to be successful whether Matt Hennesy showed up in his life or not.
Yeah.
But those other kids, it was a tough time too because since I was only there 2 years, my wife hated it there, by the way, in Dallas. So she said, "I'm moving back to Oklahoma." So we ended up coming back to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But in only 2 years there, four of those players are dead, and 6 of them are in prison. So that's kind of where it was. I still got one of my linebackers still writes me from prison. He's in triple life sentence, I think is what he got. But so it was a rough deal. But those kids they needed somebody, and they didn't have men in their life. They didn't have, and that gave me a chance to be that guy. And so gave me a whole new aspect. I don't know how long we got on here, but my favorite story I tell about there is one of the reasons I wanted to go there is I wanted to prove that you could install Summer Pride. We build our whole program around Summer Pride everywhere I've been.
Yep.
And that I also could run that defense. People say that's too complicated for high school kids. But I wanted to prove that in inner city school, if you'll just teach it, or if you'll care about the kids, they'll show up and they'll do whatever you ask them to do.
Yep.
And so we're rolling through Summer Pride. Now we had to do it a little different. Luckily, I had Mike Robinson as the head coach, and he understood the area because we had to run a bus route for Summer Pride. Only one kid on the whole team had a car.
Yeah.
And so we'd run at 9 o'clock. Normally I'm 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock. It was at 9 o'clock. But every kid was showing up there buying in. He was amazed at how the summer. So he told me, "You're going to get to name the captains." And I said, "Okay, cool. I got this." I said, "But I'm not doing it until Summer Pride's over." He said, "Whenever you want to do it, it's up to you."
Right. Yeah.
We're about 2 weeks left to go in Summer Pride, and my senior quarterback and my senior linebacker were just heads above everybody else, just obviously the leaders and just doing. So you know what, we're going to go ahead and name. And so we named those two. Then I told them how important as a captain is to me. Still this day, nobody picks captains but me. I'll listen to my assistants. I'll listen to players, but at the end of the day, we vote on leadership council. I pick the captains, and you get a C on your jersey. And I tell them it comes off a lot faster than it goes on. And anyway, so I've named those two captains, and sure enough, the next morning, the linebacker wasn't there. And I was so mad at myself. I thought I knew better to do it that quick, whatever.
Yep.
We're about 10 minutes into warm-ups, and here comes my senior linebacker rolling up on a bike with no seat on it. And
holy smoke!
I tell our line coach, "You got to finish this warm-up. I got him." And I meet him at the gate, and I'm ripping him a new one. And he's like, "Coach, just let me explain." I said, "No, I'm not going to listen. I told you you're a grown man. I told you how important this was to being a captain. You're 17 years old." He said, "Well, my mom." I said, "No, I told you guys I don't want to hear about your moms. You guys are old enough. You can get an alarm." He goes, "Coach, can I just talk for 2 minutes?" I said, "You better hurry up." And he said, "Coach, I do have an alarm, but we don't have electricity right now, so my alarm wouldn't work because it plugs in." He said, "My mom went out last night. She said she's going to be back. She'd wake me up, but she didn't come home last night. I woke up and I saw the sun coming out. I saw what time it was. I took off running here. I found this bike in a ditch, so I jumped on it because I knew I could get here quicker, and I got here as quick as I could." Gosh. I paused. I was like, "Okay, good job, Captain." Patted him on the butt and said, "Get on in there."
Come on.
And taught me, every once in a while you need to just pause for a second and let them get their piece. You still have your standards. Your standards are standard.
Yes.
But every situation is different. It's way different than at Jenks where, maybe the butler didn't get the Ferrari gassed up in time or whatever. It's where every kid was privileged.
Right.
This was not the case. So it taught me a lot. I learned a whole lot that day and learned a whole lot through those 2 years.
Come on.
And from there I went to Muskogee. And I was at Muskogee for 10 years. I was assistant for 3, then head coach for 7. Actually, head coach for 6, and then laid out of here because it's the first time I ever got fired. Got fired, and best thing that's ever happened to me in my career, I tell coaches, if you get fired, it's probably a good thing. I mean, God's always got a plan.
Come on.
And that deal was when they came and told me that I was fired, I thought they were kidding. I was the winningest coach there, and basically I made the school board president mad, and he turned 2 other board members against me, and those 3 decided they were going to vote me out 3-2, and they did. And
Wow.
I got a divorce going into my daughter's freshman year. She's about to be a freshman. And so I had made her a promise that I would not leave Muskogee till she graduated. And then she's going to be a senior the next year. That was her junior year. And so I was like, so I went to him. I even said, "Hey, give me a contract that says if I don't win a state championship, I'll just leave peacefully. I'll sign it. If I don't win one next year." Probably not, because there was no 6A2 back then.
Right.
There was only, we were going against Jenks and Union and all those guys, and we could usually beat one of them. We just couldn't beat them both.
Yeah.
But, and we were very successful, but so I stayed for a year and just taught. I laid out coaching, well, kind of. I was planned on laying out coaching. Actually won teacher of the year.
Wow.
Figured out teaching science is pretty easy. All you got to do is teach science. I'd get there at 5:30 and get my labs ready, do all my stuff. And 3 o'clock when everybody's going home, I was like,
what do I do now? I'm not staying for practice.
Yeah. And then about halfway through the season, my buddy was at Talcott School and asked me to come over and help them just do something on defense, just give them some help on a Sunday.
Yep.
When I would help them, next thing I knew, I helped coach there the rest of the year. And then I took the Locust Grove job after that.
Yep.
Never thought I'd go to a small school. And David Cash was superintendent. He kept calling me. And I was fixing to probably go to Union as the defensive coordinator. It was probably my plan.
Come on.
But whatever, again, God's got a plan all the way through this.
Amen.
And so I went, he talked me into doing it. I realized he wanted to run his program like a big time program. My deal is I don't care if it's Class A or 6A or University of Oklahoma. You run the program the same.
Come on.
You may not have Taj Mahals in the end zone. You may have 30 kids instead of 130 kids, but it doesn't matter. The only difference is how many helmets you order and all that. But your standards, how you run things is exactly the same.
Come on.
Now, most small school guys will get intimidated by talking to me and me telling them how I'm going to run things, how my booster clubs can go, I'll take them through the whole phases of all the program. And they go, oh, we can't do that. We're a small school. That's what I'd gotten in the past from a small school, and it just burnt me. I said, I'm never going to do it. David Cash says, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Let's go. And so we took the program that, they'd gone 2 years, they hadn't won a game in a couple of years. And a kid named Mason Fine rolled in there. He was going to be a freshman. Ended up being owns every record in Oklahoma high school football. Right. And first year we went 5-5, made the playoffs. And from then on, we were quarters or semis every year. I was there 6 years. And then Pawhuska called, and they're in the same boat. They just had a winless season.
Yep.
And won a game or two the year before that. Just bad situation.
Yeah.
And I really wasn't looking to leave. My family, after I graduated from high school, they went to, when I was in college, they moved to Pawhuska. My dad got transferred to Pawhuska.
Yep.
So my brother and sister graduated in Pawhuska. I did my student teaching at Pawhuska under Duke Atterbury and at Bartlesville under Don Burt. So,
oh, wow, okay. Yeah.
So, a long time ago, 1990. But, so anyway.
And Pawhuska in 1990 was not exactly what it is today.
No.
My dad pastored there for 7 years.
Okay.
So, and it was back in the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah. So.
Pawhuska was big for a while until the oil bust hit, and then it kind of went down. Then luckily the Drummonds came around and revitalized town. Now it's like a little tourist town.
Oh, it is, man.
And but it's beautiful. And so anyway, I ended up taking the job. Really, the reason I took the job was because I was so happy at Locust Grove. I didn't want to leave. But my top assistant had been with me for, I think at that time, 14 years. And he was ready to be a head coach, but he kept getting shot down because he didn't have any head coaching experience. But it was in my contract that he was the next head coach there. So I said, you know what? Why don't I leave and take another job, and you can have this one? And everything's in great shape. It's ready to roll. It's like Pawhuska is right now. And he did. He went to the semifinals the next year. Of course, then he left and went to Hilldale after that.
Oh, wow.
Now that program's gone downhill. But so we took the Pawhuska job and walked in just, again, it was God's timing to where, I walked into a group that was hungry, and there was boosters wanting to make it happen. And, the first year we were 6-4 in regular season, went to the playoffs, got beat in the first round by Rejoice. So went 6-5 that first year. And every person, when you do this in a town, and so I've kind of built my name off turning programs around and starting programs. Come on. And I love doing it because I love watching the change in the culture, not only of the program, the culture of the program is going to change. That's not the hard part. The part is changing the culture of the whole town, changing the culture of the whole community, changing the culture of the whole
language
of the whole high school. You just see it all just change. Ever said, you got kids right now, and it may not be quite this way at Bartlesville because they're good in other sports. They're good. Sure. Bartlesville's a great town. Those other little towns, kids were embarrassed to wear their letter jacket to Tulsa. They were embarrassed to wear their letter jacket over here to Bartlesville. Not now. They're sporting those letter jackets anywhere they can. Come on. And they want people to know they're from there. But the whole key is it takes 5 things to turn a program around. You got to have players, first of all, and you got to be able to develop players. And, I think that's what we're good at. The guys I'm bringing are good at that. The guys I'll keep, if they're not good at it, they won't be with me long or not. I had a staff meeting the other day with all the staff. I'm going to interview them all individually next week. I said, my number one rule is you love kids and you do what's right by kids.
That's the thing that blows my mind. If you're in teaching or if you're in coaching and for high school and you don't like kids, what the heck are you doing?
You're not doing it for the money. It's not like you're getting $1 million check at OU or whatever, So that these guys may be all great at that. That may be their thing. I don't know. I haven't got to know them yet. But we need to get more kids out. And you got to develop the kids. So we'll do that. Second thing is you got to have great coaches. And again, you find coaches first. You find guys first that love kids. Come on. And then they better be ready to work if they're with me. I'm a early rise guy, and I don't work on a clock. I sleep 3 or 4 hours a night. That's plenty for me, and we roll. My man. But Third thing, you got to have is great administration. One of the reasons I took this job is because of Thad Dillbeck and Chuck McCauley.
Yeah.
They handled this interview process better than anybody I've seen. They called me, asked and said they want to talk to me about the job. Said we're still playing.
Come on.
And they said, we respect that. We just want you to know we're interested.
Yep.
And I said, well, call me when I'm done. And so we got beat in the semifinals last Saturday, last Friday night. They called me Saturday morning, and Thad says, look, Chuck and I watched the game together. Super impressed. Your kids played so hard, but I know if you're still hurt, if you need some time, take your time. I said, no, and my wife still has a hard time understanding because I think she was more hurt than I was.
Sure.
But it's different when you're in the fight. And I ask my kids every day, I only need one thing. I just need you to give me everything you got.
That's it.
And those kids left it all on the field. They busted their tail. We were very outmatched.
Sure.
But the game,
Who'd you guys play?
Rejoice Christian.
Oh, okay.
You know, they got 3 D1 dudes, and they got, their private school kids and all that stuff.
Yep.
So, but we fought them tooth and nail. My little kids and it came down to the wire. But I was good with that. I told my kids, and I always tell them, if you can walk, I tell them this to start it before every game. If you can walk in at the end of the night, look in the mirror and talk to God, because you're the only two that truly know, and say, I left it all on the field. And you two can say that, then you got nothing else to be ashamed of. I don't care what the score was.
Love it.
If you'll leave it all on the field, then, so anyway, but back to administration, that's got to be a huge thing. Administration and staff.
Yep.
Teaching staff, that'll be one of my big deals when I get here full time. I'm back and forth right now, officially start in January. But is making the teachers understand that they're part of our staff. And I'm for them. If they call me and say one of my dudes is screwing up, he's going to get it. And sometimes it's not even his fault, maybe, but I don't care. I'm always going to back the teacher.
Sure.
And once they realize that and learn to trust me, because our whole program is built on trust.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden, kids don't get sent to the principal's office; they get sent to me. Kids, hey coach, he's not doing very good in this class. Can I catch him this time to do tutoring? Can I? And
Sure.
and the teacher were
Start helping. Yeah.
And the majority of your teachers are, like you said, they're in the business for kids.
Come on.
And so they just need to have that support on the other side of it too, though.
Love that.
So you got your players, you got your coaches, you got your admin and staff, and then you got parents. You got parents that are willing to trust me with their kids, because I'm gonna have their kids more than they have them.
Yep.
And they got to trust that we're doing the right thing, and they gotta be all in. And plus, I'll show them avenues to get closer to their kid through this.
Come on.
They don't have to agree with everything we do, but they gotta, when he gets home, just love their kid. That's all I need them to do. They don't need to try to second guess the coaching and all that. And we'll get all that. I don't even know if that's a problem, but if it is, we'll get it fixed.
Yeah.
And the last thing's the community, for a lot of reasons. One, it takes a lot of money to win football games. It's an expensive sport.
Yeah.
I feed my kids all the time, and there's lots of ways people can do it. Some people will have money, they'll donate money. Some people will have services. They own a restaurant, and they want to feed the kids.
Sure.
Some people have time, and it's no different, than I hear my pastor talk at church of, hey, maybe you can donate money, maybe you can donate time, maybe you can whatever you can donate.
Yep.
But I need them all in there because we need to all be a part of it. And then I sure need all their tails in the seats on Friday nights.
Come on. Love that.
And so those 5 things are crucial, because it's just like going into a fight.
Yeah.
If you got one sticking out, you got one piece not involved, you can't go fight like this. You can't go fight like this.
100%.
You got to be in here like this.
Come on.
And so that's how we build a program. And what I look for when I go take a job, are those pieces there? Maybe they're not quite developed. They're there.
Yep.
They need some developing, but that's my job.
Come on.
And so, I think it's a big piece. It's like when you called and said, do it, the answer is yes. Anybody that asked me to talk right now, my answer is yes. Now I have to figure out my schedule. Yeah. But I'm going to speak to every civic group. I'm going to talk to every church group. I'm going to talk to every
I love that, man.
group.
That you're willing to connect it and jump in and be a part of seeing the bigger community as a whole. Like that speaks volumes, because a lot of guys are maybe nervous. I mean, especially stepping into the faith space. Like, this is a Christian podcast. Like, the majority of people who listen to this throughout, it's on a Christian network. It's all these things. So that you're willing to step into these spaces and reassure the community, hey, I'm here for the good of your kids, for the glory of God. Like, we're going to make this thing happen.
Absolutely.
I love that.
This Christmas, as families gather around the tree, lights twinkling and hearts full of gratitude, many are thinking about the future that they want for their loved ones. At Revo Financial, we understand that true wealth isn't just about money. It's about building a legacy that honors your faith and your family. That's why we offer values-based financial planning, retirement strategies, and investments aligned with Christian principles, so that you can give generously, protect what means most, and rest easy knowing that your finances reflect your beliefs. This holiday, let Revo Financial help you put your money where your values are. Visit us at 117 West 5th Street, Suite 402 in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, or give us a call, 918-336-7877, or check out revofinancial.com.
Advisory services offered through Revo Financial, a registered investment advisor of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Revo Financial only transacts business in states where it's properly notice filed or exempt from such requirements. SEC registration does not constitute an endorsement of the firm by the SEC, nor does it indicate that the advisor has attained a particular level of skill or ability.
Hey, Merry Christmas, my friends. Out on Highway 75, where the road meets home, there's a place that's always open for you this Christmas. Copan Truckstop and Restaurant, your friendly, family-owned stop in Copan, Oklahoma. Whether you're a trucker on a long haul or a family traveling for the holidays or just craving a hot meal, we've got you covered. Come check out breakfast served all day, specials starting at $5.89, our famous prime rib every Friday and Saturday night. Come in for a hearty comfort meal, homemade pies, and down-home hospitality. It feels like family. Fill up your gas tank, grab a snack, and just sit back and enjoy the season. Copan Truck Stop and Restaurant, 7440 U.S. Highway 75, Copan, Oklahoma, right on Highway 75, just north of Bartlesville. Give us a call, 918-532-4666. Copan Restaurant and Truck Stop. Hey, my friend, are you looking for the ultimate stocking stuffer for the cigar lover in your life? Well, look no further than Ash Cigar Company here in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Step into our cozy walk-in humidor and discover the perfect cigar for every cigar lover on your list. Stop by 117 Northeast DeBell Avenue in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, or you can give us a call at 918-578-9186 or stop by ashcigar.com. Make this Christmas an unforgettable one for the cigar lover in your life. Come see why Bartlesville's finest cigar lounge is the place to be this holiday season. Ash Cigar Company.
And so I looked at Bartlesville and all those pieces were there. I mean, you got kids that are hungry wanting to play. Now we got too many walking the halls. We got, my thing that drove me crazy right at first was I looked at my brother-in-law's a new head basketball coach, just got hired this year. Yeah. Jake Christensen is my brother-in-law.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so I said, Jake, how many football players you got on your team? None. I'm like, come on. He says, I don't. I said, that's got to change. Jake walked in my office this morning. He says, hey, coming home from Muskogee the other night, I asked my assistant, what's the biggest thing you saw that we got to change? He goes, our physicality. He goes, we got to get some football players in there. And I'm a big believer in that. I walk, the wrestling room. I went up to the wrestling room the other day to talk to all those kids.
Yep.
And here's the beauty of where we're headed with this. I had a team meeting my first day, and they said all football players coming. Jake brought his whole basketball team to my team meeting before they left to go again, just because we'd already talked. I said, I need some of those guys, and you need some of these guys. We don't have enough athletes in Bartlesville to say I'm only a football player. I'm only a basketball player. Maybe something. So I went up to the wrestling room. None of the upper weight kids were football players. There was 2 or 3 football players in there, but they're all lower weight kids.
Yeah.
And it ought to be the opposite. Every upper weight kid. So I told him, I said, you're going to play football.
I love it.
My top assistant that I'm bringing with me, he's never coached wrestling, but he's my line coach. He's a big guy. He's coaching wrestling starting in January. He's going to be in there with the big guys.
Come on.
Because the wrestling coach said, heck yeah, let's do this. Let's work together. Because if all the coaches work together, and it's got to be a truly work together. It can't be I don't care if they play their sports. I don't care if you play another sport, but you're probably going to get behind. Well, you might as well not even said that. Now the kids are feeling the pressure.
Come on.
We got to make sure these kids know that we're all together, so there is no pressure.
Yep.
And we get all our kids playing every sport. I'm not saying every kid is. Some kids just don't like some other sports. They got their thing, and that's what they do. That's okay. But any kid that wants to ought to be able to go play their sports.
100%.
And for me, honestly, I can't teach them to compete running around a cone or, we're all going to lift weights in the morning. We're lifting weights. We're going to get bigger, stronger, faster. But I can't teach them to do that, compete. And I think learning to compete is the number one thing we got to teach. It doesn't matter how big you are, how fast you are, how strong you are. It does, and that helps. And we'll work on that stuff. But at the end of the day, how much you're willing to compete when you're out there is what matters. And they'll learn that, out on the wrestling mat. They'll learn that free throw line with 30 seconds to go and you got to shoot a free throw. They'll learn that out there on the bump. It's bottom of the ninth and I got to strike one dude out and everybody's looking at me. We've got to teach kids how to compete. And at the end of the day, my number one goal is to turn these boys into great men.
Awesome.
That's our number one goal.
Integrity is so important.
We want to win a state title. We want to do all these other things. I've learned those are byproducts. It's part of the process is turning these boys into men and teaching them what it takes to be a man. Because nothing makes me prouder now than I get a phone call from a kid that says, Coach, I just got a job promotion. And all I could think about the whole time I was going through it, and I didn't want to get up. When you used to make us get up and go to practice, or that fourth quarter drill, I did this, and that fourth quarter drill, or get invitations to their wedding, and they talk about, the things they learn about commitment.
Yes.
That's the reason they're. So, that's the real reason I do it now.
Yep.
And the reason why, they ask me how much longer, I can retire in 4 years. Mm-hmm. And that was one of Thad's questions was, hey, how long are you going to do this? So we don't want to just hire another coach here in a few years.
Sure.
I said, well, first of all, my son is a sixth grader.
Oh, wow.
So I've got at least 6 years with him. There you go. And I'm not going to be gone for then. And then I said, I'm going to retire when I wake up and have to go to work. The day I wake up and have to go to work, then I'm going to quit.
Come on.
But I don't see that coming. My energy. Now, I say that. My wife looked at me and I said, the other night I got home and it had been a long day. We had been a grind. And then we went to we drove to Muskogee to watch the basketball game after I got done with all that. And we got home. I was just sitting there going, oh. And she looked at me. She goes, you sure you got one more in you? Because I said, I got one more rebuild in me. And she goes, you sure he does it? Yep, I do.
You got this.
And we're ready to roll. I mean, we're excited. There's been, I've told this story a million times. Told it to Thad and Chuck the other night when we were meeting, finalizing everything. Mm-hmm. 3 years ago, I almost took the Enid job.
Yeah.
And that's where I went to high school. And they've called me every year it's came open.
Yep.
Never even been interested. Now I thought, well, it might be time. It's finally time to go home and fix that program.
Yep.
Thought I had it, and right at the last minute, I didn't get it. And I was kind of down. I was like, you're kidding me. What?
God's got a plan, bro.
And then my problem is shutting up and listening sometimes. But
I think that's everybody's problem.
And then Muskogee last year, they took my name to school board, and school board decided they wanted to go Coach Condit instead. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, you're kidding me. Mm-hmm. And then this one, and I told them, I said, here's the deal. There was red flags on both those jobs all the way.
Yep.
And I just ignored them because I wanted the job so bad. Yep. And finally, God just says, you know what? You're too stupid to pay attention. So I'll just take these away from you, and you can't screw up. And thank goodness he did. That's fantastic. And then there was 0 red flags on this one. It was all green flags. It was go, go, go. My brother-in-law is the basketball coach. So
I've known Luke, his brother. Yeah. Luke, he and I used to play in a band together.
Okay.
Back in the day. So yeah, I've known Luke.
So Tara's sister is here. Mm-hmm. Her other sister already lives here. Her mom's works here in the admin department.
Oh wow.
My brother lives here in town.
Bro.
So family's here.
Bro.
It's close. Our kids are super excited about moving here, which it's always a worry when you move kids and they're away from their friends and whatever, because their cousins are all here and everything.
Yep.
It's just timing is right. And
love it.
I think the program's ripe and ready to, I think Coach Wright did a lot of good things. Hats off to him. I think he did a lot of good things that I'm going to build on those things.
There you go.
Other things, our personalities are a little different and I'm going to do a lot of things my own way.
Sure.
But,
I think it happens on every program.
Oh,
I mean, it happens even inside of church worlds. I'm a pastor, and so that when one pastor does certain things, another pastor is going to do things differently. That's just how that works. I mean, that's to be expected. You're individuals, so absolutely. So, I want to switch gears a little bit because you've mentioned this a couple times through the course of the conversation. You've mentioned God. I'd love to hear the story of how Jesus got a hold of you. That's one of the things I ask almost everybody who comes on my show. How did Jesus grab a hold Coach Matt?
Well, I've gone to church my whole life.
Okay.
Grew up Catholic.
Yep.
And actually, I grew up Methodist, but I just didn't know it.
Yeah.
Grew up in a very, very modern Catholic church.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So Father Dave was a huge influence on me growing up. And then, you know, I left there and went to college. So I went to the college Catholic church. So it was very contemporary. And then all of a sudden I got out and I was getting ready to get married. And she's like, so we're going to convert. So, well, I've heard this about Catholicism. I'm like, it's not true. It's not true. And all of a sudden I started going to all the Catholic. I was like, whoa, what is this church? What is this? And then she was Methodist.
Okay.
And then I went to her church and I was like, or my grandma's church. And I was like, wait a minute, this is what I grew up in. And so it's just crazy to me that, you know, but so I don't really have I wouldn't say that I have a denomination.
Okay.
And then I will say this, the last probably 3 to 4 years, it's really, really, really changed for me.
Okay. Wow. How come?
Our church, City Church in Pawhuska.
Okay.
And Pastor Jamie is just, he's something else. Okay. And, but all of that, just watching our kids, our youth group has blown up.
Okay.
And we have practice on Sunday. We practice on Sunday nights. It's just something I started doing 15 years ago, and it just gives us a huge advantage.
Yep.
I've got a rule, it's not mandatory. So if you go to church every Sunday night, you've always gone to church, you go to youth group every Sunday, what you got something, you're excused. I don't take a role. What I found is most of my kids are there. It's not usually something going on Sunday night. Occasionally be, hey, coach, grandma's got this church to go. I mean, no big deal. Because install night, it's not really, if you miss, it's not the end of the world. And, but we had a deal where they let me, so my kids came to me. I said, Coach, our church, and it was like, at that time I was going to Life Church and City Church trying to figure out where I wanted where I wanted to be. And they said, they're having a praise group come in and a worship group. And is there any way we can go? And we practiced from 4 to about 7. And they said, it's going to be at 5:30. I said, you know what? And I don't know why, because the old me would have just said, no, we're in the middle of practice. You can go if you want, but we're not.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? We're going to take an hour break from practice. And anybody wants to go can go. And I'd already took James. James was like, it doesn't matter what church you go to. You want to come. Our youth group exploded because of that. Pastor Jamie will tell you that night changed our youth group. Because a bunch of, hey, let's go over there. You know, some kids didn't. Some kids hung out at the deal.
Sure.
You know, so our youth group, but just watching our youth within the church, that's helped me a ton. But also that church, you know, and I've always had a great faith experience, and luckily, because God, if not for God, I mean, I'd
come on. Yeah. But 100%.
When I was in Muskogee, you know, we do Thursday night team dinners, and it's always usually at church.
Church, yeah.
And I just let the Boost Club set it out.
Come on.
And really, the reason I do it, the reason I've always started doing it is twofold. One, I like people to see my boys without their helmets on.
Yeah.
Could say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, thank you, you know, and they're like, and one like I said, it costs a lot of money to run a program. Well, that little old lady serving you lasagna might not, but her son might work at some big company, and she goes, hey, you guys need to go help that football. There's some good boys there.
Yeah.
So there's a piece of that, but more than that, I always let the pastor or the youth pastor talk for 10 minutes or whatever,
100%.
whatever's on their mind.
Yes.
And my deal was, especially at Muskogee, was maybe one of these kids finds a spot, something that clicks.
Yep.
And they just keep going. You know, and so when I got, the crazy thing is when I got divorced, all of a sudden my church, the church we went to, didn't feel quite as comfortable because she was there, and there were some things going on. And, and so I came to this mind, we were just going to call it Team Church. And wherever we had team dinner, I was going to ask the pastor, what time's church Sunday? And I was going to go to church there on Sunday.
Oh,
and anybody that wanted to go could meet me there. If you have your church, great, go to your church. And our group got pretty big of our team going to churches. And it was awesome because I'd see a kid, all of a sudden a kid wouldn't be there the next Sunday. Yeah. Hey, where were you at this morning? Well, I really liked that church last week. I went there again. Okay. And all of a sudden I started seeing kids fall off and find a place where they fit.
There you go.
I mean, every church has got their own feeling, their own way to communicate, their own, you know, sound, their own feel. Sure. And there's something for everyone. And I was, you know, and there was some experiences for me. Yeah. I had never been in the the black churches where it's dancing in the aisle, and it's a good time. I was like, it was cool. I was like, but watching how different people celebrate and and praise God, and so that was a neat experience for me, and kind of shaped me too of how things went down the road. But yeah, these last 4 to 5 years has really been a big deal for me.
That's awesome, man. I love that. What do you? I heard you mention this too, so I have a feeling I know where you land on the OSU train here for Bedlam. Where you at?
I'm a K-State guy.
Oh, so you just
Got you. I got my master's at OSU.
yeah.
So I got ties there. Darren and Casey Schrum, I was very close with them. She was the president that got released last year.
Yep.
So any game we'd go with them because we'd hang out in the president's box. That's a pretty cool place to be for a game.
Sure.
And honestly, I'm working every Saturday, so I don't get to go to many games.
Right.
But Bob Stoops was one of my coaches. Brent Venables was one of my teammates. So I've got some OU ties too. I've had players go to both schools.
Yep.
So I really just nowadays I cheer for coaches and players. If I got a coach buddy there that I like, I cheer for them. If I got players, it's all about relationships, and that's all this business is about. It's relationships.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
that's what we're going to work on here is building relationships. And I did a leadership quiz with the kids the first day, and it was simple. It's just tell me who you think, and I told them nobody's going to see this but me.
Yep.
Tell me who the top 3 leaders are on the team. Tell me two guys you don't trust. Tell me, who brings the team up when things are down. Who brings the team down when things are going down? They just take it worse.
Yep.
And then some silly questions like, you're about to get jumped in Dewey by 5 guys. Who you calling? A lot of times you find out who the tough kid is on the team because they write his name.
Yeah.
It was funny to say I'd never seen this before because I've done this at different places.
Yeah.
One kid wrote 5 kids' names. I thought, well, he call him back up. I was pretty smart there. He wasn't just calling one; he was calling 5
Calling
kids.
all his buddies.
But if your car's broke down in Oklahoma City, who are you going to call? Just who? One of them is if you're on a falling off a cliff and you got a hold of the rope, who you want on the other end of that rope? And it's really interesting reading the question because sometimes it's guys they really trust. Sometimes it's just the biggest, strongest guy on the team.
Right. Yeah.
But that's what I've done today is gone through those lists because now I'm already. It lets me at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. They're fired up.
They sound really. They sound really like they're gonna tear you apart. And
I got 2
if somebody ever did break in,
they'd lick them to death.
they'd be like, "Oh, let me show you where everything is."
Yep,
and so
mine are the same way. Well, I don't know. My mini rod, he doesn't like strangers, so he might change. But no, but it allows me to already know the team before I ever get started. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who I think the leaders are.
Sure.
It's who are the kids following.
Yeah.
And because I'm going to start leadership. So I do a leadership class that I'll start. Matter of fact, I met with the principal today. We're going to do it during advisory. Every school's different. I used to do it at lunch at Pahuska, but everybody's got different lunch schedules here. So we're going to do it twice a week during advisory. So I'm going to pick the first 12 kids. That's going to be the 12 biggest vote getters on that sheet. That's how it's going to be. I've got a book. This time we're going to do off Make Your Bed. I don't know if you ever read Make Your Bed. It's an amazing book by a Navy SEAL general that.
No, nice.
He
actually no, I think I've heard of it. I've not read it, but yes.
Great book, and it's short. It's just I think it's 10 or 12 chapters.
Nice.
And I created a study guide off of it. So I've got the books. I will bring those kids in, and we're going to spend 6 weeks studying and doing that leadership. And then at the end of that 6 weeks, I'm going to let them pick another kid on the team they either think is a leader or think should be a leader. They're going to give them a book, and I'm going to do the same thing. And we're going to do it again. We're going to try to get through these kids. Because what I learned at Locust Grove the hard way is when I had Mason Fine and Jason Pirtle and Trevor Taylor, I had 3 leaders that were leaders as freshmen. And we had 0 locker room problems. We had 0 nothing because we had
positive
3 good leaders.
Yeah.
And when they were all seniors, we all talked about how, man, they've been leaders. They were freshmen. But boy, we got some really good kids behind them. We did. Had some great kids. They didn't know how to be leaders. It's not just something natural. I think it's my job to teach these guys how to be leaders. And part of that. And so we're gonna do that. And I've got 3 or 4 different studies that I'll use because I'll do it every year.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll do it every year. We'll have that, and then from there we'll choose leadership council, which will be a group that kids in each grade. that I'll meet with once a week, every other week, whatever it is however we need to do it. And they kind of let me know the things going on that sometimes I don't know. Sometimes you don't know if you're not in there, you're not downtown on Saturday night, or you're not, well, I'm not going to be running in their circles. So, they let me know some problems that we don't know. So we can kind of head that off or fix it or address it if it need to be. Or sometimes I tell them, you need to address that. You're the one that needs to fix that. And then I sometimes have to tell them how, because just going in there and yelling and screaming sometimes, or being tough guy, that's not going to work. You got to, and also I tell those guys, it's not their job to coach other players. That's my job.
That's it.
And it's their job to put their arm around them and say, hey, come on, man, I got you. I've been there too. Don't get down today, get back up. The coaches I'm bringing with me, and I'm sure the coaches that will be on staff by the time they've been with me for a little while, we get real good at playing good cop, bad cop.
Okay.
It's never talking, it will never be don't listen to him. You're okay. It'll be, hey, just understand why he said that, it. And I work real hard on me. If you see me on the field, I'm a real intense guy on the field. I'll get after those kids, but just keep watching. That's one thing I challenge anybody. If you see me really getting in somebody, just watch for a little bit longer.
Come on.
Because 2 or 3 plays later, you're going to see me with my arm around them, whispering in their ear, telling them I love them, telling them, here's why, understand why I did that, and here's why we got to have it. So I think you got to explain to kids why. You can't just yell at them. I mean, they got to know what they did wrong, understand why to try. If you really want to fix the problem, and I think it's important to tell kids you love them and tell them you're proud of them. I mean, I'm telling kids I love them, and it freaks them out the first time I do it usually.
Yeah.
So we got a little dude. It was the Pirate prayer, then it was the Husky prayer, now it's going to be the Bruin prayer.
Come on.
And we'll do it at the end of practice, in the games, start of games. And we'll do it at the end of games. It's really cool because I invite the whole community down. Everybody come on the field, and we hold hands and we circle up. Seniors get in the middle. It's just the old Nebraska Cornhuskers. Dear Lord, the battles we go through in life, we ask for a chance it's fair. And it's just a little deal, ends with day by day. We get better and better till we can't be beat, won't be beaten.
Yeah.
And then Bruin pride forever, amen. And we're done. But after that, I always tell them before we leave practice, I always say, God, family, football, remember I love you. And I've ended practice that way, every practice, game, team meeting for 16, 17 years now, every practice. So the first time you tell, a 16-year-old boy you love him.
Yeah, we would.
Hey, but then it turns into within 6 months or down the road. Now, you go over Husker right now, God, family, football, remember I love you. Love you too, coach. And it's,
I'll constantly look for ways to tell. There's nothing wrong with saying I love you.
No.
I think that's part of our problem in the world is we're not saying that enough. Yeah. And it is when you first time you say it to somebody, especially if it's in a man to man, hey man, I love you, man. They'll go. But once they realize, oh wait, you actually do care about me. Yeah. That's reciprocated, and it does change the environment. So I love that.
100%. So
come on, that's great.
And that's the way our team will roll. We'll build the culture.
Love it.
Culture is an overused word.
Yeah.
The culture there.
Sure.
Culture is what you do every day.
Yep.
That's what culture is.
Yep.
What you do day in, what you stress every day. Mm-hmm. That's your culture.
Love it.
And so we'll they'll know right off the bat what it is, and
very cool.
There'll be some tough love here and there, and I'm big on second chances, third chances. If you want to do it right and you want to change, if you don't want to change, then you gotta go at the point where other guys are starting to fall. That's why I get questioned by some teachers sometimes. They'll swing by leadership class. But why is that kid in there? That kid is that kid's one of our worst kids. I said, well, I agree, but he's also a leader. If you watch him, kids follow him.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones was a great leader. Not Jim Jones, sorry, not Jerry. Yeah. and Jerry Jones, great leader too. But Hitler was a great leader. Yeah. They just weren't great men.
Exactly.
And so a leader is whoever gets followed.
Yep.
So it's my job to either get you out of a leading role, which I don't want to do that, or just change how you lead.
Exactly.
If I can redirect how you lead, well, then it's a win-win.
Every time I go speak at a high school, I always tell people one person can make a difference, and I use two scenarios. I'll say Adolf Hitler, Billy Graham.
Yep.
I mean, you got two men who impacted millions. One of them for really, really bad things, and the other one for the glory of God. Like one person can change the room, can change the entire environment. So that's the idea of what
we should be looking at as leaders, coaches, pastors, to what can I do to impact the room? How can I step into these spaces, make them better than they were when I got here? Encourage the students, encourage people to see the best in the spaces that they're in, and then go hard to win. Yeah. So that's the idea. So I love it, man.
Well, God didn't want us to be soft.
Come on,
He didn't teach
Amen.
us just to go out there and just do it.
Amen.
Do it with all your might.
Go hard, baby.
And so that's what we're going to do. Our kids will play hard. I know that. It's not going to happen overnight. We got a lot of work to do.
Yep.
I'm excited to do it. I don't know that it's going to take as long as everybody thinks it's going to take.
Right.
And we're excited. I've got some really good guys coming with me.
Yeah.
Tyler Hughes is going to be my top assistant, my assistant head coach.
Yeah.
And he's already all in. He's already turned his resignation in over at Pawhuska, and he'll be here in January. And I've got another one probably be here in January. I'm gonna wait till it's goes
Official.
through till announce his name. But everybody's gonna be excited about the two other ones actually. And then then I've got a young linebacker coach over that's coming with me, and he's excited. So I've got guys already. And then my phone's blowing up with guys that want jobs. It's a little different than the Pawhuska job and the Locust Grove job. Nobody was calling my phone on that one.
Right.
Those two.
Right. Yeah.
It was, you're crazy. What are you doing taking that job? And I've gotten a lot of that. Are you sure you want to go to Bartlesville and try? I'm like, yeah, I do.
I think you're gonna like it here, man. It's a good city, and man, I've been here since 1986, and man, I love the people here and have a heart for the folks here, and it's I'm telling you, I think you're gonna have a blast.
I do too. It's a beautiful town.
Yeah.
The community's awesome. The right to go. It's a great high school as far as education.
Yep.
And so, I'm excited to get here. I'm excited to get my kids in the school district. Excited to get my wife moved over here.
Come on.
She's ready to roll. Everybody's ready to roll. So we just got to dive in and get to work.
Praise God, man. Well, I'm excited to have you here, man. Thanks for coming on the show just to share your heart and what's going on.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Yep.